In the bustling, neon-lit streets of Seoul, Young Min-ho stood at the top of the business world, the CEO of one of the city's largest tech conglomerates. He had wealth, status, and the admiration of everyone around him. Yet he felt like something was missing. Beneath his polished exterior, behind the perfectly tailored suits, was a man lost in the expectations placed upon him, a man trapped by a world he had no choice but to inherit. Min-ho's life had always been carefully planned. From the moment he could walk, his family had groomed him to inherit the family legacy. Every decision was scrutinized. Every word he spoke measured. Young Min-ho was not just a man, he was the embodiment of his family's ambitions. But that was before he met Seo Ji-yoon, a woman whose life was worlds apart from his. Ji-yoon, a humble office worker from a small, tight-knit neighborhood, had never dreamed of being involved with someone as influential as Min-ho. She was focused on her modest goals: pay the bills, live with dignity, and perhaps one day open her own small cafe. Nothing extravagant, just a simple, peaceful life. Their worlds collided one fateful day during a corporate event. Ji-yoon was tasked with handling a public relations campaign for Min-ho's company. A simple job, nothing extraordinary. But as they spent more time together, the connection between them was undeniable. Min-ho was captivated by Ji-yoon's warmth and authenticity, qualities that no amount of wealth or status could provide. Ji-yoon, on the other hand, saw a side of Min-ho that no one else ever did. A man with vulnerabilities, someone who longed for something more than the life he was forced to live. But their relationship was far from easy. Min-ho's family had already chosen a woman for him. Lee Hae-jin, the perfect match, a well-educated, wealthy woman from a respected family, poised to help Min-ho secure even greater power and status. Everything about their union made sense, except for one thing: Min-ho's heart was already taken. Their secret relationship blossomed in stolen moments, behind closed doors, where Ji-yoon and Min-ho could finally be themselves. Yet, the weight of Min-ho's family's expectations loomed large. They were watching, waiting for him to fulfill his duty, to marry Hae-jin and carry on the family legacy. But Min-ho couldn't deny it any longer. He was in love with Ji-yoon. His heart beat for her, not for the woman his family had chosen for him. It was a love that defied societal norms, class divisions, and everything his family stood for. The day of reckoning came when Min-ho invited Ji-yoon to a formal family dinner. It was meant to be a simple introduction, a chance for Ji-yoon to meet the people who had shaped Min-ho's life. But what started as a hopeful evening quickly descended into a nightmare. The dinner table was filled with exquisite food, but the air was thick with tension. Min-ho sat at the head of the table, his face a mask of composure. Ji-yoon sat next to him, feeling like a fish out of water. She was wearing a simple yet elegant dress, but no matter how much she tried to hide it, she knew she didn't belong in this world. Min-ho's mother, sharp and unforgiving, scrutinized Ji-yoon with eyes that could pierce through steel. "So, where do you come from, Miss Seo?" she asked, her voice dripping with condescension. "Your family, what do they do?" Ji-yoon's heart pounded in her chest as she struggled to answer. "My family runs a small bakery," she said quietly, avoiding eye contact. "My mother, she passed away last year, but we managed to keep things going." Min-ho could feel the weight of his mother's gaze, the silent judgment that hung in the air. He clenched his jaw, wishing for the evening to end. His father, ever the calculating businessman, shot a look at Min-ho from across the table. "This isn't the kind of woman you should be with, Min-ho," he said coldly, his voice low but firm. "She doesn't have the connections, the standing that we need. You know this. You've always known this." Ji-yoon could barely hold back tears, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. She felt small, invisible, like she was an intruder in a world that would never accept her. Min-ho reached for her hand under the table, his fingers brushing hers in silent solidarity. He wanted to protect her, to tell his family that he loved her, that she was enough, but the words caught in his throat. The conversation grew more uncomfortable as his family picked apart Ji-yoon's every detail. They made no effort to hide their disdain. "What can you offer him?" his mother asked, her tone mocking. You have no future, no wealth. How can you possibly think you're suited for him? Min-ho's blood boiled, but he held his composure. He wasn't going to let them break Ji-yoon. He wasn't going to let them dictate his future. But his family wasn't backing down. His father leaned in, speaking in a voice that only Min-ho could hear. This is your last chance, son. Marry Hyejin. Do what is right for the family. Don't let her ruin everything you've worked for. The tension was unbearable, suffocating. Min-ho could feel the walls closing in. He turned to Ji-yoon, his eyes filled with regret, guilt, and love. She looked back at him, tears welling up in her eyes. For a moment, the world stood still. In that one fleeting second, Min-ho realized he had a choice to make. Would he choose love and the woman who had captured his heart despite the odds? Or would he bow to his family's expectations and sacrifice his happiness for a future paved by duty? As the dinner continued, Min-ho's mind raced, torn between his family's demands and the woman he loved. He knew that the decision he made tonight would change everything. As the night drew to a close, Min-ho and Ji-yoon left the dinner in silence. The weight of the evening hung over them. Ji-yoon, her heart breaking, felt the sting of reality. Was love enough to overcome all of this? Or would they be torn apart by the very forces that had brought them together? The battle for their love was only just beginning.